Okay, so the OnePlus Pad 3 is going to be selling for $699 here in the US and $999 for my Canadian friends. And also, this does have only one single color, and this is this storm blue color. It looks nice. I probably would like to see a couple more lighter color options out there because you can see fingerprints a little bit on here. But overall, this is a very nice neutral color, I would say. And this tablet is super, super thin. It comes in less than 6 millimeters thin, so it is incredibly thin. And also, the edges are flat, and you do have some rounded corners on it. So the screen is coming up from the 12.1 inches on the OnePlus Pad 2 all the way up to 13.2 inches, and it is going to be 3.4K resolution and also 12-bit color depth and also 315 ppi, so that's pixels per inch. But all of that technical jargon aside, the display is great. I love the colors on it and the brightness levels, and also I use the OnePlus Pad 2 for the past year a lot for watching movies and stuff, and so this basically is going to be replacing that for me a lot of the time, especially when I'm at home. And it does pair nicely with the 8 speakers. Yes, 8 speakers in this OnePlus Pad 3 that do give you spatial audio, so the sound is going to feel like it's moving around you a little bit, and it does have an effect. And also, I really did appreciate how the vocals do sound when I am watching a movie, and the loudness that you get from these speakers is pretty impressive. Like, I have to turn it down, and I'm someone who typically likes to listen at maximum volume, but I keep this thing around like 80% because of just how loud these 8 speakers can get. Now, with all that being said, it's not going to replace using some earbuds or some over-the-ear headphones with this. But if I am just chilling on the couch and I want to watch something, the speakers on this really do give me a very full sound that I can appreciate. Now, there is one downside to having a bigger screen on this Pad 3, and that's the fact that it does make the tablet bigger than the OnePlus Pad 2 here that you can see here on the left. And so because of this, I like the OnePlus Pad 2 for how compact it felt, especially for one-handed use, where this OnePlus Pad 3, even though it's thin and it's also light, it's just a bigger tablet to hold in your lap and stuff. So the number one thing on my wish list is for OnePlus to do a OnePlus Pad 3 Mini. So maybe make it a little bit smaller than this OnePlus Pad 2, but give you a lot of the same features that you get with this OnePlus Pad 3, and that definitely would give me just the best of both worlds. But back to the screen here, in the settings here, you see you do have a few different options here. I actually do turn on the video color boost. It does add just a little bit more pop to the color of the video that you are watching. I do appreciate that. A little bit more of a saturated look, which I like. And also, you do have screen attention that will allow you to have the screen always be on if it notices that you are looking at it, which is nice. And also, the screen refresh rate for this can still go all the way up to 144 hertz. 120 hertz is still kind of the norm with a lot of other tablets out there, but this can go all the way up to 144 hertz, and also you can allow it to automatically select the proper refresh rate depending on what you're doing, and that will help prolong your battery life. And speaking of battery, this thing is a battery champ for real. So the battery capacity inside of this comes in at 12,140 milliamp hours. And this does support 80-watt Super VOOC charging. And then surprise, surprise, inside of the box with this tablet, you do get an 80-watt Super VOOC charger inside of that. So that is nice to see. So you can get those fast charging speeds out of the box. You don't have to go buy a separate charger, which you have to do a lot more these days. And also, of course, you get that signature red USB-C cable. But yeah, when you plug this in into the charger, and if you are starting from 0% in just around 10 minutes, you can get up to 18% charged back into the tablet. So yeah, the fast charging on this is legit. And as far as like watch time, you should be able to get around 17 hours of watch time if you are watching movies and stuff. And if you are playing like AAA video games or things that are very graphic intense on this tablet, you should be able to get around 6 hours according to OnePlus. Oh, and when you are going to be gaming a lot, this does have a vapor chamber inside of it. Basically, this is going to be helping regulate the heat inside of it. So if you can keep the tablet cool, your battery life is just going to last longer and your performance isn't going to take a hit. So overall, just playing a few games on this myself, the performance has been pretty good. And the performance on this is also really good because this does have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite platform inside of it. And all devices that I've been using so far that take advantage of this just really have great battery life and great performance. So this OnePlus Pad 3 is not an exception to that. And the performance also rolls over to how well OxygenOS 15 runs on this tablet. So OxygenOS is the base OS for this, and it is something that isn't brand new because it is on the OnePlus Pad 2, but there are a couple of new things with how AI incorporates with like how you are handling documents and stuff, helping you do summaries and also translation and things like that. But you also do have circle to search on here, so this will allow you just to tap on this little button here at the bottom, and then now I can circle anything on the screen. I'm just going to circle here my dog Gadget, rest in peace. But yeah, this will just give you some information information about the dogs and stuff like that it thinks that it is. But yeah, you can use this for practically anything to get information very quickly. But the main star of the show when it comes to the software on this is always going to be Open Canvas, at least for me. So this is their multitasking approach that is just simply the best multitasking for touchscreens that I've used to date. And so yeah, this allows you to have multiple apps open at the same time. And because you have that Snapdragon 8 Elite and also the software optimization, things like the animations and transitions between those different apps are going to feel faster and just more fluid. And it's really easy to initiate this. So you can swipe up and add an app to an already open app that you have, and that will initiate it. Or I like to just swipe down from the top of the middle of the screen when I do have an app open, and that will allow me to add apps that way too. And one of the changes that we're seeing with this OnePlus Pad 3 with this is the fact that it will just kind of notify you a little bit more like, hey, you know, you can take advantage of this open canvas here and multitask and maybe get your tasks done a little bit faster. All right, so the fun doesn't stop here with the software. So if you do have a OnePlus phone like the OnePlus 13 that I have here, you can actually remotely view and also control that phone on this OnePlus Pad 3. So you have full control of it to be able to navigate, you know, your social media apps that you might have on there, or to be able to do text messages and things like that. So it's nice just being able to pop that up on the screen and leave your phone on your table and then have your tablet on your lap if you are just chilling on the couch or something. So I like this. Now you can also connect this tablet to your PC or your Mac, and you can actually take control of those devices. So on my Mac, I downloaded the O Plus app onto that, and then now I can actually tap into it and be able to directly control my Mac. Now you do have a bunch of different passwords and permissions and things like that you have to do in order to do this, but I'm able to move windows around and actually scroll up and down, and I can activate this virtual mouse and be able to actually use it just like a regular mouse, or I can activate this touchpad down at the bottom and use it just like a regular touchpad, and also bring up a keyboard. And one keyboard is just like one that you'll use with your computer, and the other one will just be the tablet keyboard. And you also have a bunch of other different quick actions to do. Now generally this did work well when I was on the same Wi-Fi network, but sometimes I did have issues. Like one time I had to restart my Mac because after I disconnected from the OnePlus Pad 3, my Bluetooth keyboard and my mouse weren't responding. So after that quick restart, everything was just like normal. But outside of that, I would say this worked pretty well around like 85% of the time. All right, so now let's talk about some of the extras that go along with this tablet. So one, the folio case that I've been using is really cool to use. So it's pretty thin when you aren't using it, but also does give you some protection for the screen and the tablet. But it does have this really nice tri-folding designs, kind of like origami a little bit. So you have multiple different ways where you can prop it up to watch videos, or you can lay it down but still have an angle that allows you to be able to write or draw on it at a really nice angle. And speaking of writing and drawing, this still does work with the OnePlus Stylo 2. This released last year, so there's nothing really new with this. This isn't a new version. Just from my scribbling on here and just taking notes and drawing and stuff, the pressure sensitivity seems to be really on point here. So you can see I'm drawing a light thin line, and then I press down a little bit harder to draw a darker line. And also I like the fact that you can double tap on the stylus to be able to bring up certain actions. So you can switch between the eraser and then also go back to whatever tool that you're using. And then you can also set it up to where when you do double tap, you'll bring up the color palette so you can easily and quickly change colors. Oh, and this stylus does magnetically attach to the top of the tablet for storage and also for charging. And so look, for this portion of the video, I'm actually filming this right before I'm about to upload because the smart keyboard for this OnePlus Pad 3 has finally arrived. The keys are nice and spacious, and also you do have a row of function keys here at the top. You can control the brightness, playback controls, and all that good stuff there at the top. And also you have a dedicated AI button, which is new this year. So you can press on this, and this will activate the built-in Google Gemini. And of course, you can ask it to do a whole bunch of things here. The trackpad feels very nice. You have a cursor that shows up right here on the screen as soon as you touch this trackpad, and of course it does support multi-gesture support. And then right down here you do have built-in NFC, so I can take my OnePlus 13 here and I can hold it over here, and then it'll automatically go ahead and transfer this photo at full quality over to my tablet just like that. And you can also use this to activate the screen sharing that I showed you earlier. So just bring it close again, and then now it'll go ahead and give you the option to go ahead and hit start to start casting, and then now boom, it will show up here on the OnePlus Pad 3. And right now the keyboard is physically attached to the tablet, and this is how it also charges, but also you can disconnect it, and via Bluetooth this still will work because you can see here the trackpad is still showing up here on the tablet. So you can use it if you want to have the tablet maybe sitting on a table, and then you want to have the keyboard sitting on your lap. And even though you can still attach the stylus here at the top of the tablet, unlike the other case that I showed you earlier, you don't have a little flap here to go around it to make it a little bit more secure when you are taking this tablet in and out of your bag. So yeah, the keyboard is pretty nice so far. It does have a built-in kickstand. It does have a nice angle of adjustment here, so you have many different angles you can get to get that optimal viewing angle, and you do have some really good, nice protection all around here, and it does add a little bit of weight to the tablet here, but that's expected for a keyboard case, but so far it does feel pretty premium. Oh, and just for kicks, I'm just showing you some photos and videos that I was able to take with this. The videos actually come in at 4K and up to 30 frames per second, but honestly, I'm not someone that ever takes photos and videos with a tablet. I usually have a phone in my pocket that I would rather do, but hey, if you like to take photos and videos with your tablet, here are some examples of what you can expect. And since we're on the cameras, I forgot to mention this earlier, but the camera design and placement is different here on the OnePlus Pad 3 compared to the OnePlus Pad 2, which has it centered at the top here on the back, but now it is going to be on the top right-hand corner here on the Pad 3. A couple other notes about this tablet. One, it doesn't have any type of built-in fingerprint scanner, so you do see that on some Android devices as an alternative to be able to unlock and log in, but you do have face unlock on this, which does work generally well. It does struggle sometimes at night when I don't have any type of light, but for the most part, it works well for me. And another thing is that they don't sell a model of this that does have a way to connect directly to a cellular network, so you will have to rely on using your phone or another Wi-Fi hotspot to be able to get internet on this on the go. Okay, so look, yeah, I think that's about it. So I'm pretty happy with this OnePlus Pad 3. Now look, I know if you are in the Apple ecosystem, you have an iPhone, you have an iPad, you have a Mac, Apple Watch, all those things, a lot is not going to be able to pull you away from that. This has the screen, it has the speakers, it has the case, it has stylus support, it has really great multitasking. It has a lot of things that you actually don't find as like a combination with other tablets that cost more than this one. So I'm pretty overall happy with it. Again, $699 is the price tag. And so yeah, the pre-order for this starts on June 5th and also officially launches on July 8th. And they do have a pre-order deal where you can get up to like $299 of free stuff between the two cases for this and also the stylus. So definitely take advantage of that. And I'll drop some links down below to where you can get this tablet. And as far as where you can get this tablet in the US, you can get it from OnePlus.com, Best Buy, and also Amazon. And in Canada, you can get it from OnePlus.com and also Best Buy. But that's all I got for you right now. Let me know what you think about this OnePlus Pad 3 down in the comments below. And like always, I do want to thank you for watching this video, and I will catch you later. Peace.